Let me begin by offering my warmest congratulations to you all. The degree you received today is the University of Tokyo's recognition that you learned enough and have the appropriate ability for bachelor's, master's, doctoral, or professional degree. On behalf of the entire faculty and staff, I congratulate each of you for your hard work and dedication. I would like also to express my gratitude and congratulations to your families for their encouragement and support for you over many years. As you look back on your time at the university, you are probably remembering more than just the challenges and successes you shared with your fellow students. You might have sometimes failed in your experiments or realized that your hypotheses were wrong. Or you might have got stuck trying to write your thesis. You were no doubt upset by the restrictions imposed by the COVID pandemic, and you might have envied the achievements of your friends. Or perhaps you sometimes felt alienated due to differences in language and culture. Those times are now behind you. Beginning today, you can stand on your own with your degree in hand and look ahead to brighter times to come. "85 years ago, in 1937, the political scientist Masao Maruyama also received his degree from the University of Tokyo. He later took a post in the Faculty of Law, and he went on to educate many scholars. One of his students was Emeritus Professor Hiroshi Watanabe. Professor Watanabe later recalled that Maruyama offered him some advice about studying Japanese political thought. "There is a saying," Maruyama said, "that those who know only German, in fact, do not know German. Similarly, those who know only Japanese do not know Japanese, and those who know only Japan do not know Japan. If you want to study Japan, you first need to learn foreign languages." Maruyama was not merely encouraging the study of other languages. He was trying to explain what it means to understand human society deeply. We need to realize that our world is divided into many distinct areas by language. While the languages of others may be difficult for us to understand, only by learning them do we become able to see the world from different perspectives. Acquiring those different perspectives is where knowing begins. Each of us thinks in our own language and perceives the world around us through the lens of that language. Learning to understand the languages of others allows us to transcend those limitations. Recognizing differences among people allows us to see what we have in common, just as seeing particularities lets us imagine the universal. Through our attempts to understand other languages, and through our exposure to the worldviews of other people, we can attain a higher level of universal awareness. That's why multifaceted and pluralistic thinking is one of the most vital conditions for academic knowledge. The importance of multifaceted thinking can be seen, for example, in contributions made at the University of Tokyo in the humanities. Here, scholars have created original knowledge based on both European and Asian languages and cultural history. They learned from modern European knowledge on the one hand, while utilizing local knowledge from Asia on the other. In the early 19th century, European knowledge was profoundly impacted by the discovery of Sanskrit, a language of ancient India. That discovery was important because it helped to reveal the origin and history of the languages of Europe. In his lectures on the philosophy of history, the German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel described the discovery of similarities between Sanskrit and European languages as a major historical breakthrough. He said it was like finding a whole new world. At that time, European university education emphasized the study of Latin, not only because Latin had long been considered the basis for liberal education. Although they were no longer spoken in everyday life, classical languages like Latin were the foundation for the international exchange of knowledge at a level beyond that of the native languages of the students. The discovery of Sanskrit as another classical language seemed to open the door to scholarly interactions within a wider world beyond Europe. It is easy to understand why Hegel was so excited. Universities in Europe were changing then. Since the Middle Ages, European universities had often been like guilds, institutions dedicated to the classical education of the elite. But now they were starting to evolve into a modern higher education system that encouraged students to explore, think, and create new knowledge on their own. It is no coincidence that around the same time, new academic disciplines emerged for studying the world's languages, cultures, and religions. When the University of Tokyo was founded in 1877, its educational system was based on the European model, and courses on Sanskrit were offered from early on. Junjiro Takaksu, who had studied at Oxford and Leipzig universities, was hired to teach in the Faculty of Letters. The renowned novelist Ogai Mori, who died 100 years ago, interacted with Takaksu and also studied Sanskrit. After graduating from the Faculty of Medicine, Mori went to Germany to study as a military doctor. He continued his study of German while delving into Latin as well, as Latin was a source for many European languages. He became very interested in Sanskrit, which was actively studied in Germany then. After returning to Japan, under the supervision of Takaksu, he wrote a monograph about the life and records of Ashoka the Great, the emperor who was the first to unite most of the Indian subcontinent. Research on India at the University of Tokyo has produced many original studies that are highly regarded worldwide. That research has drawn both on European studies and on documents in classical Chinese that were rarely examined in Europe. One of the researchers was Emeritus Professor Akira Hirakawa of the Faculty of Letters. Using materials written in Sanskrit and other languages of India, as well as the vast number of Chinese translations of Buddhist scriptures that had come to Japan through China, he was able to reveal the organizational structure of Indian Buddhist orders. The records he examined in those various languages showed that the earliest Buddhist orders in India, the Sangha, had been autonomous egalitarian organizations of monks and nuns who were free to travel around the different places. In that sense, the Sangha were similar to university research groups today. In any case, the Sangha spread throughout East and Southeast Asia and into the interior of the continent, changing their form from period to period and region to region. Hirakawa's research on Sangha was a groundbreaking achievement, the first of its kind in the world. Thus, one of the most important features of the humanities at the University of Tokyo has been the multifaceted nature of our research. While incorporating much modern knowledge from Europe, our scholars have also utilized Asian academic knowledge. Through the study of materials in many languages and through dialogue with people with other perspectives, we have pursued an inclusiveness that respects pluralism and excludes nothing. We continue to maintain this important tradition today. In September last year, the University of Tokyo announced UTokyo Compass with the subtitle, Into a Sea of Diversity, Creating the Future Through Dialogue. UTokyo Compass is a statement of the guiding principles of our university. It describes the ideals to which UTokyo should aspire and the direction it should take. A few months ago, we also issued a statement on our commitment to diversity and inclusion, because no new intellectual creation can take place in an environment that excludes others. In both statements, we make clear that education and research are possible only when we learn from others who are different from us and when we coexist with diversity. Let's think about these issues from the perspective of two concepts related to my own research: autonomous distributed systems and emergent systems. Autonomous distributed systems are systems that do not have a central mechanism that integrates and manages everything. Instead, each element decides its behavior on its own, sometimes cooperating and sometimes competing with other elements to generate an overall order. Research began in this field around 1990 as a part of systems theory. Researchers have proposed structures consisting of multiple operating elements, such autonomous robots, without a central controller. The goal is to achieve better flexibility, versatility, and robustness than conventional centralized systems. Emergent systems are systems that aim to extend the order-generating mechanisms of autonomous distributed systems through a more hierarchical and dynamic process. Research on emergent systems aims to go beyond systems theory to create functions through systems design. Also around 1990, Christopher Langton and others organized the first workshop on artificial life. And complex systems research became very active at places like the Santa Fe Institute. I remember well how researchers in a wide range of disciplines, from biology, economics, to informatics, control engineering, and robotics, gathered at those workshops on emergent systems. The discussions were very heated. In the study of emergent systems, characteristics that cannot be directly predicted from the behavior of individual elements are considered to be the cumulative result of the global order, that is, of the interactions of elements with each other and with their environment. Researchers try to find ways to cause those characteristics to emerge as intended. In the process of their explorations, researchers have to delve into a wide range of academic fields, including brain research, corporate organization theory, behavioral economics, market design, and deep learning. I am sure that each of you can imagine many ways in which such research might be applied. Earlier, I mentioned Masao Maruyama's focus on language. As a part of human culture, language is also, in a broad sense, an emergent system. In fact, research is now being conducted on creating emergent communication between robots and emergent grammatical rules among agents. University research itself can be thought of as an emergent system that transcends the boundaries of science and the humanities to create new networks and structures of knowledge. This understanding of emergent systems is deeply connected to the importance of dialogue, which is at the heart of UTokyo Compass. The horrible military invasion that began in February this year revealed the fragility of our world order. No one asked for the widespread destruction and tragedy or the obliteration of normal daily life. That situation reminds us that while war is often explained as a result of accumulated disagreements, the use of military force further strengthens and hardens those disagreements. It also reminds us that the loss of dialogue only increases suffering and animosity among people. Without dialogue, our problems become very difficult to solve. The disruption in the international order caused by the invasion 7 months ago and the resulting increase in insecurity have had many global repercussions. Not a day goes by when the news does not report on the growing refugee crisis, food shortages, higher prices, unstable energy supplies, and even nuclear threats. The climate change caused by greenhouse gas emissions requires coordinated action by all countries, but efforts to moderate climate change now face new challenges, with some people even suggesting that we should return to the use of fossil fuels temporarily. The many problems facing humanity today cannot be solved without multilateral dialogue across national borders. We must find new ways to move ahead together with people who speak other languages and who have different cultures. I sincerely hope that all of you will help to lead the way in this endeavor. In closing, I would like to offer 3 suggestions that may serve as guidelines for you as you take your next big step ahead. First, when you interact with people from diverse backgrounds, try to think flexibly about issues from the ground up. The days when we could set our goals in advance and think only about how to achieve those goals efficiently are ending. In today's globalized world, the very sharing of ideals and goals is being questioned. We need to keep in mind what is desirable, and for whom. And we need to adjust our goals constantly. In emergent systems, individual interactions create the global order. But that global order also constrains individual actions. In such interactive dynamic processes, a different optimal solution emerges each time. In human society as well, we must all learn how to find and share our goals through constant dialogue with others. Second, even when you are working in your own field and dealing with your specific issues, please remember to act with a sense of universality. Your role as a human being goes beyond your specific time and location. The enlightened thinker of modern Japan, whom Masao Maruyama most admired, was the polymath Yukichi Fukuzawa. When Fukuzawa looked back on his own life, which spanned the very different Edo and Meiji periods, he said that he felt that he had both lived 2 lives in one body and being one person with 2 bodies. Today, even more so than in Fukuzawa's time, we need to live 2 concurrent lives to fulfill our roles as professionals, while also meeting our responsibilities as citizens and human beings. Global problems such as climate change cannot be solved by specialists alone. They must be confronted by researchers in every field. And each one of us must understand our role as an individual as well. I hope that each of you, having studied at the University of Tokyo, will commit yourself to playing an active part in society in multiple ways. Third, I hope that you will both cherish the friends you have made here and expand your personal networks into the wider world. I mentioned earlier the Sangha, the autonomous organizations of Buddhist monks and nuns, and the important role played by those newly formed intellectual communities in human society. When Japan was first being modernized, new organizations arose called shachu, or kaisha. These were groups of entrepreneurs that gave birth to a new politics, new economy, a new culture for our country. Today, similar new communities are emerging that involve people throughout the world, and they are beginning to play an important role in global transformation. At the University of Tokyo, we are especially committed to supporting the creation of emergent networks through our alumni associations. and I urge each of you to take part in them as well. On the occasion of your graduation today, as you get ready for your next step forward, please take pride in what you have learned at the University of Tokyo. And as you prepare to take off into the clear blue sky of the future, may the wisdom you have cultivated here open up a brighter tomorrow for each of you and for the entire human race. I congratulate you all once again, and I look forward with the highest hopes to what lies ahead of you. Thank you all very much.